welcome back to our coverage of the EU LCS Regional Qualifier. It has come to Game 4 between H2K and the Unicorns of Love. Currently 2-1 up for H2K, and I want to highlight some hallmark moments in the making. If H2K win the next game, it'll be the first time in 2017 that they've beaten Unicorns of Love in a series, and it will also be the first time in the history of the Unicorns of Love that they haven't made it to the finals of the Gauntlet or the Regional Qualifier. So a lot is on the line, but the most that's on the line is you want to play Fnatic tomorrow. As H2K, you are incredibly close, and as the Unicorns of Love, you're seemingly very far away. You have to make a change. So I kind of want to look at where we could see a change coming in. A couple of factors you guys said. Well, the macro after Game 1 for the Unicorns of Love, after their ideas in the early game with the Kayn and with the early sweepers, we didn't see a lot of macros. So is that really something they can fix, though, from Game 2 to 3?
No.
3 to 4?
You do not fix that like based on one game to another game. We've seen 2 games in a row now where Unicorns end up kind of doing the traditional Unicorns thing where they take either some really bad fights due to one member trying to make a big play on his own, and then he gets caught out and he dies. In this game, it was a lot of Hylissang. And then also around Baron. We've seen now 2 games in a row where they either struggle to start Baron at the correct time and then disengage and take the fight, or secure the Baron and then get out after. And like it's actually cost them quite a lot in 2 games in a row. And that's something you don't just fix. So I wonder if you're Unicorns, if you actually want to go back to more of the level 1, the game 1 style where it was super focused on with this game plan of like really snowballing the game as fast as possible and have a jungler who could really counter jungle hard. Nidalee is available.
You keep saying that.
You end your point, yeah?
I'm done, yeah.
All right, so I feel like it's not really H2K beating UOL, it's like UOL beating themselves right now. Like, I feel like Hylissang and Vizicsacsi are really underperforming today, and historically, they always underperform when it really matters, and you can see it here. So that's why I'm kind of looking forward to next game, because now the pressure is on H2K to finish the series off, and Unicorns will maybe have some time to reset their mental, maybe think about the draft a bit more, maybe not let H2K Rakan again, because this champ is pretty strong in the hands of Chei. And yeah.
I mean, they might also just get it for Hylissang. Last time on red side in Game 2, they had the chance to pick it, but they didn't go for it. They took Alistar instead. And
He's so good at it.
And gave the Rakan over. Just take it. Grab it yourself.
Yeah, I think when we highlight the individual players in the team fights, it's becoming super, super important. And when you talk about Hylissang, we also have to think of the fact that he is emotionally quite an explosive player. And this is what I've seen definitely in the last 2 games. He's tried to get the advantage in the engages and this and that, but it was too brusque.
He's trying to make big plays when he doesn't need to make big plays. In this game here, they were waiting for adaptive helmets and Locket to be completed to then start fighting against the Rumble. But before they even got to the full completed Locket, they'd already forced 2 or 3 fights. It was really unnecessary. And you know who got the kills in all these fights? It was Cassiopeia and it was Sivir every single time.
And the thing about Hylissang is I've played in a team with him, and when things are not going his way, he, like, the way he tilts is, he just becomes not patient. Like, he loses all his patience. He forces plays without thinking about anything. He doesn't really set up plays, and that's what happened this game.
Now, if you would take the name Hylissang away from that, and we're talking about this match, I would think you might be talking about Jankos, because that's what we said in the beginning of the day. However, Jankos and Febiven have had a tremendous series. A lot of players have been standout on H2K, but this is what I heard coming up from you guys. Jankos didn't tilt at all. He did great. Febiven has been a fantastically secure force, even though Exileh has been having a good series. And H2K on the individual player level seem to be keeping their head cooler.
100%, and I think some of the last fights we saw as well, we see the synergy between like the Rakan engages and a Rumble ulti from Odoamne. And this was Odoamne who was really far down. He was 0-4 in this game, and then still in teamfights managed to actually turn it around. So we're seeing from H2K, and we saw the same thing against Splice. We saw a bit of it against Fnatic as well in the 3rd place game. Like, they are actually bouncing back from losses or from a poor mistake in-game. They actually find a way back in the game. But they had a really bad level 1 where Jankos was actually set behind. As well, and he still managed to bounce back in this game here.
Yeah. I'm also very impressed by Febiven and Jankos, because Game 1, both of them were really set back, really, it was the perfect opportunity to tilt, you know, after a game like that. And then they just took it relaxed. They just forgot about Game 1, went into Game 2 with a fresh mindset, and they are showing up.
Yeah, on the other side, we talked a lot about the underperforming players on the Unicorns of Love. I do want to highlight Exileh. We've ragged on him for an entire split. Rightfully so in a lot of cases, I would say. But in this series, he's playing the normal pick, so to say, and he's had great records on them, and he's playing great. But I don't know if you should invest then more in him still and try and help him carry more, or if the weight of the rest of the team going for those brusque engages is then holding the team back.
I think they're doing a fine job playing around Exileh when they need to. I don't think they need to do more with him. It's just the rest of the players who needs to step up their game if they want to win Game 4. And a lot of it is, do not take these super risky engages that you don't have to go for.
Calm down.
Their comp was great in the late game.
Yeah. It's not that hard, you know. They just need to set up the vision, fix your side waves, push out waves, put some pink wards down, wait for the enemy to come and then fight. But what they are doing is they're not patient. They're not putting down enough pink wards that are effective, and they just wait in bushes when the enemy has no reason to face check, and yeah, it's just not efficient.
Well, we'll see. It is do or die for the Unicorns of Love in Game 4. Let's leave it to our casters for picks and bans.
Thank you, Sjokz. I want to give a quick shout out to someone on the analyst desk. That's Deficio, who sold H2K out immediately after Game 1. And then they 2-0'd Unicorns of Love. So it looks like your faith, not the most important thing. Just thought I'd call you out for that. We're approaching Game 4.
I think H2K are just determined to make sure that Deficio is wrong. I think that is their sole goal.
Look, you put the faith in, Deficio, they lose. You take the faith out, Deficio, and they win. I'm just saying, you have a little more control than you give yourself credit for. Yep. Maybe not in the best way, however.
Seems that way. So we're gearing up for Champion Select H2K. They're going to be on the blue side for this game. And normally this is where the color cast goes. We're going to see a bunch of changes. And I think the biggest change will be Rakan will be taken off the board.
Let's find out, Vedius. Let's see. How important is Rakan going to be? What else can Chei play? What else can he bring to the table? You know, despite the pressure on them in the series, Vizicsacsi's still looking pretty calm. Kane remaining a ban. Xerxe got to play it once, never again. It's the new Warwick for him. He's not going to get his chance to get a hands on it. Orianna remains banned away, setting us up for yet another Syndra versus Cassio mid lane matchup. With the mid lane, maybe not as much of a center of attention as it should be. Cho'Gath banned away as well. Pressure. Actually looks like it's getting to Samux a little bit there on stage. Definitely.
Gnar and Kalista likely to be the final bans going out from the Unicorns of Love. Sorry to interrupt you there. You are quite right, Samux.
Could also just be sleepy.
He could also be sleepy. Or he doesn't get to hear this super tense champ slam. I love this music, by the way. It really gets you in the mood, you know. You realize the weight. H2K at 2-1 up. Unicorns, their backs are against the wall. H2K, they don't want to lose to the Unicorns again for the 5th time this year. So H2K, they're going to stick to what they have done throughout this series and where they found success. Ban away some of the comfort picks. Take away the Thresh, take away the Kane, take away the Cho. This does mean that things like Jarvan, Rakan, Xayah, all left available. And if H2K mimic their Game 2 performance, very likely that they will go for the first pick, Xayah, assuming that it is left available, unless the Gnar is left open.
I have to wonder, Jarvan banned off. Gnar is up and available, so is Tristana, so is Xayah, however.
Now this is fascinating because H2K are forced into a decision. Do they go for the Gnar and allow Unicorns to get Xayah Rakan, or do they give the Gnar away to Chachi, and this is a big comfort pick for him, try to get themselves Xayah Rakan?
Gnar Rakan could be the lock-ins here.
I think that would make the most sense for the Unicorns of Love. Not only would you deny the Rakan from Chei, but you also put it onto Hylissang, which is a big comfort pick for him. See, like, logging in your AD carry here makes no sense to me. I do not understand why you need to get that on such an... Oh, wow. Wow. They're going to give away Gnar and Rakan.
They have to have something special against the Gnar. Remember, Gnar, outside of Jarvan, Gnar feels like the strongest blind pick top laner in the meta right now. I think it's 100% safe to say. H2K can take Rakan here, along with the Gnar, secure a reasonably safe... Unicorns Love must have something special, Vedius. That's the only way I think this makes sense.
I mean, the next pick for Unicorns you expect will be the Alistar, unless H2K don't lock in the Gnar right now. I mean, they might not. They might want to get themselves the Syndra. They're fine if Gnar gets banned away on the next set of rotations, because look at it like this. They could lock in Syndra right now, and then Unicorns, they either lock in the Alistar, and then H2K can ban away the Gnar, or Unicorns lock in the Gnar, and then they ban away the Alistar. Like, H2K, they have a lot of options.
Are going to opt for the Gragas in the end. Strong jungler, strong bottom lane selected for the team. Opportunity for Unicorns Love to take the Gnar here. It may just get banned away in the second phase if they don't opt to get it. H2K also have not chosen a mid laner, which means Syndra is vulnerable to being taken away, which means we could see a different mid lane matchup this time around. Alistar was a solid pick for Hylissang. Ulti very good for that aggressive play style, will get locked in. And second ban phase is incredibly impactful when we look at these two compositions.
Right, so as expected, Syndra gonna be banned away. Did you just dab?
Can't prove it.
Okay, gonna quickly move on. Syndra, mid lane, is gonna be banned away from the side of the Unicorns of Love. Jungler should be banned from H2K, but with Gnar still available, I think that banned away makes the most sense right now. But no, I think they're willing to let that Gnar over. I feel like both these teams are like, hey, why don't you take the Gnar? And the other team's like, no, we're good. You have it. And I wonder if both these teams have some kind of an answer for it.
Ultimately, someone's gonna have to pick a top laner at some point, right?
Yes.
Either blue side is gonna have to blind pick or red side is gonna have to blind pick. Someone has to go first. I feel like there is no reason for Unicorns of Love to give up last pick top laner. Here, they can just opt to select a jungler. They do have so many different flex picks. Jace is taken off the board as well. If they don't pick Gnar right here, Vedius, I feel H2K have to take it.
I don't know, dude. I've considered Gnar to be the strongest top laner right now, especially for Vizicsacsi, one of his big comfort picks throughout the year. It's gotta be Gnar. I don't know. Let's see. Let's wait.
Be ready. If it is not Gnar, I need to know why, Vedius. I need to know why Unicorns of Love.
Get your gasp ready.
Oh, wrong.
It's a sigh of...
Oh, it's the sigh of relief this time. Well, Gnar will be selected.
As predicted.
H2K debating what their final picks are going to be. You're going to find out if they have a counter pick to the Gnar, which I think it's pretty safe to assume that they do.
So just look at some of the stats for Vizicsacsi. 60 at Den, 12. That's pretty impressive. Kill participation is pretty high as well. And his damage per minute is pretty significant, although he is slightly below the average number of those metrics.
Now, of course, the Corki locked in, so our mid lane matchup will be different this time around. I don't... Vedius.
Oh,
prepare the gas.
Our gas, get ready for the gas.
I mean, H2K are up a game. They can't afford to lose, which is a weird thing to assume about Yasuo.
Oh!
Okay, Rumble locked in.
Bread.
Much smarter pick.
Look at Chei. He got us. He got us so good.
Now, the reason we're excited is because Yasuo has in the past been considered a counter pick. But now I have to hold my breath again.
Oh,
you might not be able to hear it at home, but the crowd just went nuts for the Ivern. Xerxe was the man who made this pick happen in Europe. So much creative original pathing. Really pushing the limits on this champion.
My pick storage is ruined. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Ivern. Actually, forget that. We'll talk about it in-game. Talk about the compositions. Funnily enough, we got Teamfight coming out from the Unicorns, but they also have the 4-1 available to them. So this time, it's fine if they bring the Gnar into the Teamfight, because the Mega Gnar, he's this big, beefy front line. He has a lot of utility. He acts as a tank. Whereas H2K, they've gone for a very similar team composition to what they did in Game 3. Very much towards scaling. They have pretty good siege, but mainly they have a lot of damage threats, and their main engage tools are the Rakan and the Gragas. What made that engage so much more lethal was the Cassio Miasma to lock them up so they couldn't flash away, and they won't have that available this time around. But the core essence of it, the ability to start fights, is still very strong from the side of H2K.
Once again, folks, I'm going to say it every time. Vote at LO Esports on Twitter. Hashtag UOL win, hashtag H2K win. We want to hear what you think. Is this the time? Can H2K finally close a series against the Unicorns of Love, or are they just not quite so lucky? Are Unicorns of Love going to fire back? Bring us to that Silver Scrapes. Bring us to that Game 5. And set themselves up to bring home the win. Well, we're going to find out, folks. It is Game 4, do or die. This is the EU LCS Regional Qualifiers. And H2K are on the road to face Fnatic tomorrow for the final seed at Worlds.
Crowd is hyped.
Crowd is super hyped. That would be the Chaos Elite, one of many Unicorns of Love fan clubs. People are about this team. People are about horned horses. And Vedius right now, I'm about Ivern. Talk to me about this champion. You said you wanted to save it. Early game feels like a good time to talk about it.
So, Ivern. The thing about him is... Actually, wait a second, Drakos. Wait a second. We see more level 1 shenanigans from the Unicorns, but H2K, they have a ward, they read the play, it's over, it's done. Dramatic setup, failed. Now, Ivern. The thing about him is, some of you may know that Uncensor has become a little popular recently. If you do heals or shields, when you have the item onto a target, they get a bunch of bonus stats, which is, hey, that's pretty cool. And a lot of supports, like Rakan, for example, have been taking advantage of that because of their easy ability to shield targets. And usually these tanky frontliners normally don't build it because it's not easy for them to provide those consistent heals or shields. So Alistar, often you don't see it unless they go for that specific mastery. Whereas Ivern, really good at providing shields, really good at providing utility, and he works very nicely with just utility items. In the past, we saw things like Locket of the Iron Solari, we saw Redemption on him, and we saw Athene's Unholy Grail. Now, what I'm expecting is for him to go to a Athene's Unholy Grail, but also an early on Censor to create this hyper carry in Samux. You have this big front line in the form of Gnar and Alistar. They have a huge amount of utility with all the shields and heals that you get from Ivern. And it's also Tristana, who's just considered one of the best late game carries that we have in the game.
And then in the hands of Samux, who has consistently been a threat on the Unicorns of Love lineup. I think when we look at this season overall, he has been the most consistently performing member, and when it's do or die, it feels like a good call from Unicorns of Love to say, hey, let's have Samux carried. Let's put the onus on him. Let's support him to bring home the game.
And you guys saw those win-loss records for Xerxe. That was, in fact, for the entire 2017 year, not just for summer. He hasn't really played much Ivern this split, but he was the initial introducer of it last split, and he's the one that made it quite popular really all over the world. So let's see how well he can do, especially when Unicorns, their backs are now really up against the wall. H2K, especially this bottom lane, has been performing exceptionally well. Really enjoyed watching Nuclear and Chei throughout this series, and once again, they're going to get themselves this Xayah Rakan bottom lane. You can already see the amount of pressure they've been able to put down onto both Samux and Hylissang.
And of course, Samux, if he's going to want to carry, does have to go through Nuclear, which is a bit of a tough ask overall. 9-0-4 in the previous game, 74% kill participation, 700 damage per minute. You can have a repeat performance this time around. Samux may not be quite so comfortable just sit in that back line and dish out damage.
And it's really big for H2K fans as well to have that kind of confidence in the bottom lane of Nuclear and Chei, because in the series versus Fnatic, they struggled. Often in the 2 versus 2. Some of the losses that H2K suffered was because of how far behind they fell. And when Chei is able to make plays around the mid lane like he's trying to do right now, that's where we've seen a lot of success for this team.
New grand entrance. Exileh caught up in the brush, Chei gonna take a tower shot, body slam, flash forward, Exileh in trouble, Febiven leaping in, Miasma goes down, but a beautiful trade of tower aggro means H2K are gonna grab that first blood unscathed.
And a 3-man gank towards the middle lane. Febiven already getting himself that first blood. Really good start once again for H2K, just like in game 3.
And I'm sorry, Vedius, support roaming mid lane.
Yes.
To get a kill very early on. What team are we talking about?
We're talking about H2K, my friend.
That's a Unicorns of Love classic right there. And H2K, the adaptation in this series, starting to get Febiven more attention after so much has been given to Exileh. Definitely a solid start for the squad.
Yep. And this is why we said you kind of have to pan this Rakan against Chei, because he is so good at it. Fnatic showed that level of respect. Ooh.
Cocky teleport, a little
Look at the grin
there
on his face. He's like, oops. We'll be able to get that very early Hex Drinker, though. Going to make this laning phase much, much, much easier for him. It means that he can now actively trade against Exileh, but he will lose out on a bit of XP after going for, as you rightly said, a bit of a greedy TP.
In the end, he still gets back to lane. In the end, doesn't give up any creeps, so not as bad as it could have been, but a poor choice from Febiven in the early game. Can't imagine it'll cost him too much at this stage since he already has that lead in lane. Exileh can tend to extend the trades, but a risky proposition. Hex Drinker shield is there. Febiven, though, doesn't want to get it popped quite yet. He's just going to heal up as much as possible on the Warlord's Bloodlust. Hylissang, though, looking to get a fight started. Chei with the battle dance to try to make it out. Nuclear on the front lines. The leap forward from Samux will reset the rocket jump, but now has to pull back. Xerxe waiting in the wings, ready to go in at a moment's notice. Chei and Nuclear have to be careful.
Now, Drakos, keep your eyes on where Jankos is in the river. You can see him pathing behind. H2K have no idea that Xerxe is lying in wait as well. Oh no, they just pinged the brush. They have a sneaking suspicion. So I feel like we're going to see a bit of action down here. Teleport is available for Odo. He is level 6.
Hylissang going in. They saw the Scryer's boom pop. They know that he's on the way. Hylissang now in trouble. Rooted up. No level 6 to keep him safe. Jankos has the body slam. He's going to look to move forward. Nice root caller comes in from Xerxe. Buys a bit of time to escape. No one's going to go down in the end, but a heal burned by Samux.
So H2K, they respond to the gank by getting a counter gank of their own. They force Xerxe back, and they get a summoner spell out from the bottom lane of the Unicorn. So H2K just doing what they can to make sure that Nuclear and Chei are having a healthy laning phase. Again, this composition scales pretty well. Slightly stronger mid-game spike with the Corki and the Rumble. Speaking of Rumble, he's doing pretty well into the Gnar right now. Typically what you see early on in that matchup is just a lot of pushing from the Rumble, but once Xerxe gets a bit of magic resistance and the Phage specifically, that's where he can look to be a lot more aggressive, because the bonus movement speed stacked with his W passive means that he has so much mobility that he can just kite around the Rumble and make his laning phase that much more difficult.
Yeah, but of course, Black Cleaver, Frozen Mallet, the standard build delayed a little bit. He has to stop at that Hex Drinker. Will keep him alive in the lane, but may not be quite as impactful in the fights to come. Odoamne all about the magic net. Helps for the lane and for the fights. Leandri's sure to follow. See if he wants to opt for a Xayah's this time around. Wasn't really present in the previous game. Xerxe now going to make his way to the top side. A lot of potential chain CC. Gnar approaching Mega. This is a good opportunity to force the gank. Odo walks into this bush to place the ward. He's going to be in trouble. Here comes Daisy in just a moment. Xerxe, though, not going to pull the trigger. I was so ready for him to commit, but Unicorns of Love not going for any aggressive plays.
I think Xerxe was stuck under his tower, so he knew that there was no way for the top laner to rotate down. Just wanted to put a bit of harassment down, demonstrate, I am here, good sir. Odo's like, ah, thank you for that piece of information. And then both.
Is that how you think they talk?
Good day. I've heard Ivern. He is a friend of the forest, and to me that signals that he's a gentleman. So he goes, good day, Raptor Cam. How the devil are you? You're looking mighty fine, Mrs. Raptor. Have a wonderful day. Carry on. It's like a police officer.
Your goal today is to ruin... First it was bulls and china shops, and now it's Ivern in the jungle. And now it might just be Odoamne on the top side of the map. Hyperproc has been initiated. If he turns Mega right here, the timing is flawless. But no, a perfect flash from Odoamne to turn it back. TP is coming in. Febiven's still alive. That's going to be a kill from the Corki. Actually continues to happen, though. Hylissang, only level 5. Exileh looking for the collapse. They're going to have to turn around. Jankos is here. Everything is going wrong for Unicorns of Love, but can they turn it back? Petrifying Gaze connects on one. The Ignite burns down. Hylissang with a flash forward. Xerxe here as well. The cast looks for the disengage. Chei desperately trying to hold on to his life. Scared to death. The dive from the Alistar. Unicorns of Love still do well in the exchange, however, taking down Nuclear, but they're going to give up their top lane tower in exchange.
Both mid laners get a kill, but H2K will get much more off the back of that play. Xerxe tries to go for the hero move. He tries to make up for his poor performance in this series by getting a solo kill onto Odoamne, but Odo reads the play. He gets the turnaround, and they punish him so well. Look here. So he knows that the moment Xerxe goes into Mega Gnar, he's going to try and knock him against the wall. Instant flash, great read, and he knows, okay, get ready with the teleport, Febiven. You need to come top lane. We're going to turn this around, and there they are. But the action does not stop. Unicorns, they go for a punish onto Chei and Nuclear. They want to try and defend their mid-tier 1 because they've already pushed down the bottom, and they get baited in here. They try to go for a fight against Hylissang without respecting the positioning of Exileh and Xerxe, because they think they're fine with Jankos on his way, but the two-man ulti coming out from Exileh, followed with a good headbutt from Hylissang. Unfortunately, just not enough follow-up from the rest of the Unicorns, allow them to get at least 1 kill back.
And Exileh this series has been playing incredibly well. A lot of that feels like the attention that Unicorns of Love have been giving him, but still, we have to praise this guy. He's gone from giant weakness to solid contender here in the mid lane against Febiven. Starting to work his way back to the top in Europe here, clearly. Good look for the team overall, but has to keep his performance up if they want to find a win here. For now, though, Nuclear playing so well with this Xayah. Beautiful use of the Blade Collar.
Keeping my eyes on the vision as well. You can see Unicorns of Love putting a few wards down in the enemy half of H2K's jungle. They should be aware that Gragas is around, and Xerxe already pathing his way. As H2K, they have the river controlled with their control wards. Maybe they don't see the play.
Forward, engage comes out. Hylissang looks for the disengage. Walking forward, quickness is going to charm up. Hylissang holding on to that ultimate as long as possible. Does not want to give it up and isn't going to have to, but Samux burns the flash along with Chei.
Surprised that UOL didn't show more respect there. They had no vision of the river, and with all the deep vision they had, I thought they would have spotted them out, but it seems that they did not. So a good couple of summoner spells burnt. H2K, they're getting advantages all across the board right now.
Waiting a little bit longer. Vizicsacsi and Odo continue to brawl on the top side. No TP for Febiven to save the day, but Vizicsacsi is playing with fire.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, nice. Hyperproc's going to be important, but can't afford to approach too well. Moving over the wall. Now in trouble. Nice dodge on the Petrifying Gaze. Jankos trying to flash out to safety. Not going to come through.
Like the dominance being exerted by Unicorns of Love there, though. They realized that they had wards in the enemy jungle, and the bottom lane of H2K had just gone back. So they try to move in, find a pick onto Jankos. They do get his flash out, but they will lose a bit of damage onto this mid-tier 1. And unfortunately for Unicorns of Love, they couldn't get the tier 1 down in the bottom lane as well. Now this gold deficit is starting to get bigger for the Unicorns, and just remember that it's fine for them, because they are playing this scaling composition. Even though Chachi's had a bit of a deficit because of his death, he will still transition into a big split push threat later on into the game. So H2K, even though they have a good lead, that doesn't mean that the game is already set in stone. There's still a possibility for Unicorns of Love.
Nice lead though once again. As we move further in the game, I feel like it will get more difficult. Vizicsacsi itemizing so much more magic resistance, very close to that phage that you mentioned being a crucial item in the laning phase. We're waiting to see the playmaking potential. Coming into the mid-game, Vedius, you talked a lot about the Corki being the stronger option.
It's because of Trinity Force.
It's true.
The classic caster power spike moment. Easiest thing you can say as a caster. Often very right. Trinity Force gives you a good power spike in the mid-game. And Febiven will likely demonstrate that. He's been having a pretty good early game, 2-0-0 right now. Makes a lot of sense to go for that early magic resistance against the Cassio, because it makes your laning phase a little bit easier. But then with the Sheen, you can kind of see that he does a fair amount of damage.
Hylissang is an aggressive man. Moves in, tries to stop the recall, loses half his health, but doesn't give up any major cooldowns. So maybe a small win for him.
I too love the way that Hylissang moves in. Is this where I dab?
Stop. All right, well, we're going to check out the fight. Hylissang's going to move out.
Good one.
Odoamne going to back off. As I wait for the inevitable Vedius is so cringe thread to appear on Reddit.
I can hear the ha-has on the Twitch chat. All right. So getting back into the game. So Dragon just went over in favor of H2K. Bit of a trade or skirmish happening in the middle lane. Exileh still holding his own though. Look at the lifesteal he's getting from his passive.
Now with the shield as well, you can see Abyssal Mask is a huge factor. And ladies and gentlemen, we're not looking at the supports this time. We're looking at the junglers. It's time to talk a little bit about our favorite item, Vedius, because that Ardent Sensor has been completed by Xerxe.
Yes, it has. And we talked a lot about it, how this could be the way in which Ivern comes back into the meta. He is that supportive jungler that makes carries much tankier than you'd expect. He gave rebirth to things like the Juggermore and basically putting hypercarries in the middle and making them the tanks. But now we have to see Chei looking for an option.
Looking to punish. He's going to try to find the knockup. Daisy coming out, knocked back into the team though. Exileh is in trouble. Febiven off to the side. The Petrifying Gaze will be everything. Is going to hit one member. Jankos is caught out. Nuclear is all on his lonesome. Featherstorm goes in. Blade Caller going to be need to use as well as they lock up Exileh, but that's advantage over to the Unicorns. Vizicsacsi once again playing with fire on the top side. Odoamne is not overheated. He's playing patient. Wall up comes out. Flash to safety. Eyes out for the Electro Harpoon, but it looks like it's not going to connect. Vizicsacsi potential to outplay that one, but not going to take the risk. And Samux grabs a tower on the bottom side. That's pretty disastrous for H2K.
As you rightly said, H2K, they end up losing a fight right there to the Unicorns after getting caught out in the jungle. It should have been a 4 versus 4 or 3 versus 3. But unfortunately for them, Nuclear just got to the fight a little bit too late, allowing Exileh to position, or reposition rather, to turn the fight in their favor. So you can see here, Hylissang cuts off the path as well of the AD carry. Febiven zoned away because he's afraid of the ultimate. He's not really able to dish any damage. And the amount of utility coming out from Xerxe, Hylissang, and Exileh just means that they're quickly able to rip through Jankos, who is still fairly squishy this early on into the game.
It's a rough road so far for the Unicorns Love, but they are firing back now here in Game 4. Remember, this is do or die for them, match point. They want to go to face Fnatic tomorrow. Hylissang, though, caught between Jankos. Blue Collar needed to get the team over the wall, but Samux comes in. Stun onto Odoamne, trying to keep the play going. Ultimate from the Alistar used, however. Looks like it's going to be the tower in the sights of the Unicorns Love. The bot lane from H2K, though, already one step ahead. Moving onto that bottom tower. Should be able to take it out with his creep wave.
So H2K, they don't lose any members, and they will be able to, at the very least, trade towers. So things across the board are still very even. I feel like that's been the story for this series, Drakos. Constant answers from either side, but in the last 2 games, it has been H2K that are able to find the edge. Jankos, so he's getting caught out a lot in this early game, not showing full respect to his opposition.
Cannon Wave here, though. Nuclear can get a lot of damage down on the tier 2. Gnar is rotating over, but it may be too little too late. Shouldn't cost him too much, about 50% of the health on the tower. Samux pushing for more, though. TP's on the backside. Febiven's here, but no package available. Equalizer has gone down. Samux does have the Buster Shot available, but he should just be done. Is going to get taken down. It's another kill for H2K, but Unicorns Love already firing back. This map just continues to be played everywhere. Exileh looking for the stun knockup, but Jankos not facing the right way. Still will get taken out. Hylissang actually going to grab that one.
And it's picks across the board from both sides. Samux overextends in the top lane, ends up getting punished. Jankos, he doesn't really overextend, but Unicorns are really good at trying to force these engagements. And they do so very effectively with Hylissang, with the Moby boots, with the follow-up from Xerxe. You're seeing how effective this miasma is being at preventing targets that have been called out of position from being able to escape. And Unicorns take advantage of that. So the gold, again, dead even, but because they've been forced back, they're going to lose this mid tower.
18 minutes of the game, 3 kills apiece. Gold just about dead even. 1K advantage, though, to H2K as the tower falls. Nuclear and Chei doing a good job of not getting caught out too much. After that first death, playing a lot safer. On the side of H2K, all the kills in the back pocket of Febiven. That's the Trinity Force you're talking about, working towards what appears to be an Infinity Edge next. Corki ready to dish out so much damage.
Indeed. Also, one thing we forgot to mention about Ivern, because we haven't seen him in such a long time, is the passive that he has with blue buff and red buff. It does mean that you can hand over buffs very early on during the laning phase, while still being able to keep them yourself. So both the jungler and any member of your team can take them if they want to. And for Vizicsacsi, that could have been a big thing in lane, but we actually didn't see a huge amount of it. But now we have to transition over to the mid, where UOL looking to try and make a play for this tower.
We're going to back off. Of course, if you're looking for a solo queue champion and 4 buffing someone is not enough, you can always play Ivern. You can 8 buff them.
Ooh, juicy.
Kind of hard, because it takes 30 seconds to prep a buff, just might doesn't have a cooldown, but it's possible. I'm sure you can find a way. Now, though, Vedius, we've got 4 members on the top side for each team, pushing against each other, and our bot lane continues to be this 1v1 battle to the death between Odoamne and Vizicsacsi. And is this just always just going to be even? Are we just going to consistently look bottom and see them push in waves, almost kill each other, but not quite? We're going to have to find out, because Hylissang is moving in. Exileh on the way as well, but going to get knocked back. Nice disengage comes in from Jankos. Febiven taking his time, moving slow. Double TPs come out as well. Odoamne ready for the fight. Now pulling back. Vizicsacsi about 50% rage, starting to charge up. Chei looking for the engage. That's going to be the equalizer, but they have to be careful. They have to respect the Gnar, because here he comes! That's a Vizicsacsi classic. Leaping over the wall, but Febiven is still alive. He's backing off. Gnar's moving for more. That's going to be it. Tristana leaps in, knocks him back. Finisher comes in for Samux, and the triple kill going to go down.
And the fight initially looked so good for H2K. They were able to get a great charm combo onto Exileh and Hylissang. They managed to get a beautiful equalizer, but then Sjokz comes in with the Mega Gnar. The wombo combo comes into fruition. Samux deals enough damage to swing the fight in their favor. Unicorns kill 4 members, and they walk away with the Baron.
Vedius, H2K, man. This is the biggest struggle.
So keep your eyes on this whole fight, right? So the TP being waited for by both top lanes. They want to see how hard they commit to the fight, and once Unicorns realize the TP is coming in from H2K, he decides to join the fray. Now, Jankos coming in here, the follow-up from Chei. This is where things look really bad for them. Really good Rumble ultimate, but then keep your eyes on the Wombo combo. Hylissang gets the headbutt, pulverized, the follow-up immediately from Vizicsacsi. Samux then dives in with the damage, knowing that he's perfectly safe. Everything just comes together, and the two members that have been underperforming this series really step up in that clutch mode.
Vizicsacsi, Gilius said, collapse under those high-pressure situations, but here he is showing up. See if he can keep this performance consistent. One or two more fights like that would open the base of H2K. Unicorns of Love are Baron buffed up, but they're not pushing in quite as aggressively as expected. Maybe gonna wait for another fight, another opportunity. Vizicsacsi gonna be on the sideline, gonna push, look for more. Oh, package used for wave clear. Not ideal, but will stop them from breaking down the mid lane.
I think they're just waiting for Chachi's wave to push bot first. Once the Baron empowered minion waves have started applying a little bit more threats to that tier 2 in the bottom, that's when UOL can look to be a little bit more aggressive in the mid, but he does not have TP, so maybe they're afraid of H2K forcing an engagement.
Oh, trying to engage here. Vizicsacsi already had the Gnar bar prepped. He's going to be Mega Gnar in just a moment. Vizicsacsi leaping forward. Wall up, not going to go in. Featherstorm still used out of respect, but good rage bar management from Vizicsacsi. Stops H2K from pushing any further, and now with a wave here to back them up, Unicorns of Love have their sights set on this tier 1 tower.
Now remember, Odo doesn't have TP either. He's still in the top lane trying to push that one out. Unicorns should be able to get 2 towers. They go for a dive.
Hylissang moves in, not going to get the follow-up. Ults, runs out to CC, but in comes the Rakan. Re-engage. Chei looking to make something happen. Petrifying Gaze not going to catch, but it will hit Nuclear. He's going to go down. Samux looking to clean up house. Is going to have to pull back as the team retreats to safety, but Unicorns of Love find a small win in that fight. Now they could just break open the base right here. Daisy has been summoned. That can tank the tower. Vizicsacsi moving forward. Out comes the equalizer from Rumble. Chei once again goes in. Not enough damage present on this lineup, though. Samux leaping, hopping, ready to move into the front line.
And this game is just snowballing out of control. Unicorns are finding fight after fight with the Baron buff. They're on track to try and end the game right now, but death time is still very low this early in the game. That is a big minion wave. Let's see if UOL can do it.
For more, Odoamne alive, Febiven alive, Nuclear alive. Unicorns of Love could overstep here. They can also end the game. That's going to be one kill. Samux deletes Nuclear. Febiven fires back with one of his own. Samux looking for the 1v1. Corki versus Tristana. No Yordle duel going to go any further. Unicorns of Love going to pull back. Not going to push for more, but definitely massive advantage for the pink side of the map.
Woo! What a game for Drakos. One single fight suddenly snowballing the lead for Unicorns of Love. And who'd have thought that it would be Chachi's Gnar to make that big deciding team fight win. So here now we see UOL just trying to siege onto this tower with the flank from Hylissang. He has so many heals, so many shields from the Ivern too. He just stays alive for so long. Look, there's the initial shield, you have the redemption, you have the heal from Tristana too. All the while, Samux is like, I will hit what is in front of me and just obliterate.
And the beautiful Petrifying Gaze to take out Nuclear there. That fight could have gone so differently, but killing that main damage threat means that it's pretty easy for Samux to just approach the back line unscathed. Just good play from Unicorns of Love. This game feels much more like the Unicorns of Love Classic, where they fell behind a little bit, yes, but they managed to come back in the mid game. They managed to find that fight, and then they just keep winning.
20 minutes, man. It's like the UOL go button. They just complete 1 or 2 items. I feel like the Unsensor may have been a thing to do with it. But also really exciting to see this Ivern being made work. One of my theory-crafted things actually came to fruition, Drakos.
All that work you put in, Vedius, see, it's paid.
that one night of, I wonder if Ivern would be good in this meta.
Looking good, man. 0-0-11, a nice start. Exileh pushing in, getting a little bit aggressive. Not going to tank the body slam, but will get knocked backwards. Miasma's keeping him safe, though. Chei can't leap in through the poison field. It's a slow siege from Unicorns of Love, taking their time as Vizicsacsi pushes in on the bottom side. They don't have a Baron buff, but it doesn't look like they need it. Hylissang still trying to find the engage. Xerxe's here as well. Hylissang actually not taking any damage though with the power of that ult. Chei not going to connect on the engage. Rare misstep from him. H2K kind of grasping at straws here. Febiven taking a lot of damage. Daisy once again summoned to support the siege under tower. We're still pushing on the bottom side. H2K, if they want to force a fight, they need to do it here. That's the two-man knockup. Febiven's going to do a decent amount of damage, but immediate ult comes in from Exileh. Febiven is in trouble, but he knows he has to take down one of these threats. It's not going to happen. Samux and Exileh are alive and well. Nuclear is in trouble. Samux free hitting onto Jankos to flash forward. He's going to have the reset. Doesn't even need it. Double kill. Moving in and moving out effortlessly. Exileh's exhausted, but he's still a massive threat. Odoamne wants to turn it here. It's a good equalizer, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Febiven, it's do or die. In this moment, he wants to turn the fight back around, but Vizicsacsi's not going to let it happen. Exileh still pushing out damage. Chei is gone. Unicorns of Love are going to bring us to a Game 5.
Unicorns always find a way. When their backs are against the wall, they bring out the Ivern, they get their hands on the Gnar. Samuel Fernandez Fort steps up in the clutch moments. Hylissang with some great engages. Nothing but praise can be given to the Unicorns for this great performance.
Gotta say, H2K still found some good opportunities. Chei's still looking like a monster on the Rakan, but it's not enough. Exileh was playing so well on that Cassio. So many clutch ults to support the team. Hylissang still playing like a madman, still going in with no fear, but now when he has the Ivern and the shields to back him up, it feels like it just works out so much better for the Unicorns of Love. And if you're on the side of H2K, you have to be nervous. You're already banning away the King. Can you afford to ban away the Ivern too?
I don't know if you have to, because now H2K, oh, actually in this game, H2K were on the blue side. And if I recall in game 1, UOL
we're on the blue side.
We're on the blue side. But so I think the biggest thing here is that Gnar. That, to me, I feel is the biggest swing factor. I really want to see Vizicsacsi on that Gnar again. And for H2K, take it away, ban it.
Well, we've heard enough from us. Unicorns of Love managed to force a Game 5. Let's head over to the Analyst to break down that win.
Yes, we're going to Game 5, and I want to give credit where credit is due. The future best jungler in the EU LCS said when the Ivern pick came out, he said, this is super legit. Tell us why in this composition.
So I really like it against the Rakan pick, because Rakan has a really hard time engaging into Ivern because he can put the bushes to his team. Like, Rakan cannot really focus anyone down. Even if he engages into these bushes, his team is not going to be able to follow up. And I think Xerxe is really the best Ivern player we have in Europe. So I thought this game was won in the draft for sure.
You can also build Ardent Sensor with a tank support who wouldn't build Ardent Sensor. You can also build Redemption. You can also build Locket. And that's a lot of good items against also things like Rumble. Obviously, that was picked beforehand. So by saving the last pick jungle, they actually found a way to fit Ivern into the current meta, which is not something most junglers would like to do.
No, and on top of that, it's dismantling something that's been so important, the Rakan and the Xayah Rakan combo, because now they have something against it in the Unicorns of Love. So that's giving them extra tools for Game 5.
And I think the Alistar pick also really showed up for Hylissang. Like, it's day and night between last game and this game for Hylissang. Like, this just shows how inconsistent this guy is. Like, last game, he really does so many mistakes, gets caught all the time, and this game he engages every fight, does some great engages.
You only need to be consistent for 3 games in a best of 5.
It is true. It is true. He needs to be consistent now for the last game as well. Unicorns want to win, but actually the consistency is also why I don't want to just put it all on draft by any means. I looked at H2K's draft and I'm like, you know what? I like this. I think the Xayah Rakan, and especially the Rakan, was so good at catching out Unicorns when they were constantly like getting caught and surprised. The Gragas maybe should have been a Sejuani. That could have been one thing. But apart from that, like, this just comes down to the player performance. And that Alistar performance was insane. And the Ivern performance was great as well from Xerxe.
Would you guys also like to give me credit for what I said in Picks and Bans when I saw the Gnar?
Oh, yeah.
What did you say?
I said Vizicsacsi Gnar is going to win this game. No doubt about it.
True.
He did really well.
I don't remember the last part was added.
No, I
heard
added
it was
that
like a maybe
for dramatic effect. But let's take a look at the replay where that happens. Obviously, not only Vizicsacsi, Unicorns of Love, they take this fight and they take it to H2K.
This is where they win the game. Basically, before this, it was actually still very even, but then Hylissang is a guard right now in the zone in the entire team, and then look at the re-engage after this engage happens from Chei. Then you get Vizicsacsi Mega Gnar, Hylissang combo in on 4 members, and that's how you win the game.
Yeah, that is how you
They
win.
just have great champions for choke fights. They have the Cassiopeia Miasma, they have the Gnar ulti, they have the Alistar combo, which he hit on multiple targets, so it was a great fight to take there.
Was fantastic. They win the game off this. Samux had a better game, I would say, than some of the previous ones specifically, but this is now where it's difficult and where I'm happy to have my professional analysts by my side, because Gilius, you said from the start, Unicorns of Love is taking it 3-2. Deficio said H2K is taking it 3-2. So who wants to start to defend why their team will take it? Maybe Gilius?
Oh, it's a really hard one. I think Unicorns of Love has now figured out what they need to draft to win in this series. I really hope that Hylissang and Vizicsacsi are not going to choke in this deciding game, which they tend to do usually. They build up hope and then they just crush it. But I think, I don't know, looking at the player camps of H2K, it really looks like they're quite down after this one. So I will still, sorry, I'm sure Unicorns will win. Yeah.
So we've seen game 1 with the Kayn that went really well. And then after that, H2K banned out the Kayn and said, okay, this is a pick that you guys are using that we can't really deal with. After this game here, I expect H2K to be on red side.
Nope, Unicorns picked red.
Okay, Unicorns actually picked red. So I think that hurts H2K a little bit. Yeah. Because I thought with H2K, if they could actually get some last picks, they could avoid, first of all, last pick jungle, which means you don't have to really be afraid of a potential Ivern again. Also, they could have just banned away the Gnar if they were afraid, or taking it actually in the first rotation for Odoamne on red side. So the fact they're blue might be a little bit of an issue for them, but...
Oh, is that another flip-flop?
No. I still think with H2K, like, Alistar, Gnar, and Kayn are 3 picks they're looking at, 100%. They're on blue side. Last game they banned Kayn, Cho'Gath, Thresh. Don't ban Cho'Gath. Throw that out for now. Gnar was open here. You can pick the Gnar against it, worst case. And the Thresh, I'd rather ban the Alistar. So I think actually H2K on blue side will have enough bans to get rid of some of those comfort picks that were so good in this game here. Give him Thresh, take away Alistar.
I think the red side is huge for Unicorns of Love because Vizicsacsi and Odoamne share like the same champion pool to a certain extent. And after the pinch phase, UOL will have first pick and then also last pick. So I think they're absolutely going to outdraft H2K in the last game.
Oh, the pressure is on, though. Unicorns of Love never made it to Worlds. They have to win this best of 5 to start with. And H2K, they have to save their entire season.
They never performed in the best of 5.
No,
hey,
against Unicorns of Love. I mean, don't try and kill the hype. It is hype.
Now
it is hype.
Do or die time.
The fact that it might actually win this best of 5 after beating Splice 3-0, making it to the final after a lot of people were like down on H2K coming into this gauntlet. So yes, of course it's hype. The fact they might actually do it in a very important game.
The pressure's on. The stage is set for one last fight between the two rivals with Game 5 coming up in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere and dance your asses off to Silver Scrapes.
Can H2K finally close a series against the Unicorns of Love, or are they just not quite so lucky? Are Unicorns of Love going to fire back? Clock has been initiated. If you turn to Mega right here, the timing is flawless, but no, a perfect flash from Odoamne to turn it back. TP is coming in. Febiven still alive. That's going to be a kill from the Corki. The equalizer, they have to be careful. You have to respect the Gnar, because here he comes. That's a Vizicsacsi classic, leaping over the wall, but Febiven is still alive. He's backing off. Gnar's moving for more. That's going to be it. Tristana leaps in, knocks him back. Open the base right here. Daisy has been summoned. That can tank the tower. Vizicsacsi moving forward. Out comes the equalizer from Rumble. Chei once again goes in. Not enough damage present on this lineup, though. Samux leaping, hopping, ready to move into the front line. He's not going to let it happen. Exileh still pushing out damage. Chei is gone. Unicorns of Love are going to bring us to a Game 5.